Hello guys, hello.
Hello.
Today we will be talking about one of the craziest stories
So crazy that it must be true.
regarding a psychic tarot reader. We will watch a short video clip about a mysterious and crazy story with a sort of a future-telling tarot cards reader. But before we do that, guys, allow me to just introduce myself.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
My name is Joe, and usually on this channel I talk mainly about geopolitics and macroeconomics, but today I decided to switch it up. A lot, quite a notch. And today we will talk about mysticism, esoterica, and psychic tarot cards reading. I have to be honest with you, I truly believe this stuff. I write a blog about esoterica. I truly believe this stuff. Also, after we finish the video clip, then I will tell you about my personal experience with a tarot cards reader. I have bought a personal reading before, and without further delays, let's just go right into the video clip, guys. Let's go!
This is a story time about the time that I found out that my dad had a secret family in another country via a psychic. Yeah, so basically what happened was my mum called me one day and she asked me if I'd be interested in seeing this psychic. And I explained I wasn't really interested. It's nothing that I had thought to do before. I wasn't really spiritual back in the day and I just didn't really believe in that kind of stuff. But she explained that they had already paid for it because for one of my mum's friends' birthdays, they decided to do a psychic reading night at my mum's house, and they had already pre-booked 5 spaces, and one of the friends couldn't come anymore. So it would be the following night, and I thought, well, if it's already been paid for, I don't know, it might be an interesting experience. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll do it. So the next night I go down to my mum's, and when I get there, everyone's sitting in the kitchen and they're going one by one into the living room to get their readings done individually, so it was private. And then it gets to my turn and I go in and I'm chatting to the lady and I am super skeptical and I am trying to not give her anything, because I'm thinking, psychics, they just do a really broad reading so that you're obviously going to relate to something and then you're going to cling on to that and somehow make it relate to your life. So I am literally being completely emotionless. I'm not giving her anything. I'm just yeah, no, And we're talking for a little bit and then she goes, so there's you and there's your sister. And I'm thinking, yeah, there's photos of our family around the house. Obviously, I have a sister. And then she goes, and there's a third. And I'm like, a third? And she's like, there's a third child. And I'm like, there is not a third child. It's just me and my sister. And she doubles down and she's like, there is definitely a third. And I'm thinking, okay. But then I did remember that my mum sadly lost a baby in between me and my sister. She was quite far along, and due to a medical emergency, she had to be rushed into life-saving surgery. And so the baby couldn't be saved. So I'm thinking, is that what she's talking about? And there wasn't really any way she could know of this other baby. It wasn't a thing that was talked about in our family a lot, unless I was thinking maybe she'd seen my mum before and something had come out about that. So that's what I'm thinking that she's talking about. She goes on to say some more things and we're just chatting, and then she goes, do you know a Jack? And obviously Jack is a super common name in the UK, but I actually didn't know any Jacks. We didn't have any Jacks in our family. So I'm like, nope. And again, she doesn't go off and try to say a James, a John. She doubles down. She is like, it is Jack. Do you know a Jack? And I'm like, no, I don't know a Jack. So anyway, she goes on and she says some other stuff, and then the very last thing that she says to me is, a Jack in the Box is gonna come out and surprise everybody. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know, is it because I didn't say the word like, I didn't say I knew a Jack. Is she trying to make the word Jack fit? Like, and then in a couple of weeks or something, if something surprising happens, I'll go, the psychic said a Jack in the Box is going to come out and surprise everybody. But, you know, whatever. So, you know, I'm probably talking to her for like 10 minutes-ish. I go back out to my mum and her friends. I tell them all what she said. You know, I sit with them a little bit longer, and then I go home, thinking nothing of it. So a couple days later, my mum calls me again. And this time when I answer the phone, she is literally like sobbing, like can hardly speak, crying, you know, trying to speak through the tears. And she's just telling me to come to the house. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she's like, just come to the house, just come to the house. So as I said earlier, like, my mum had some health issues. Like, from when I was born, my mum had always had health issues. So I'm thinking it's something health related. She's ill again. She's been diagnosed with something, or something serious is happening with her health. So I'm driving to the house. It's like a half an hour drive. I'm like so anxious. And I get in the house, and my mum is just like sitting on the settee, and she's just like uncontrollably sobbing, like literally just sitting with her hand on her head, just like literally sobbing, like can't speak to us. Like, me and my sister arrived, and she's literally just sitting there, and my dad is just like standing in the room going, it's okay, everything's fine. And I'm like, well, clearly not everything's fine, like, what's going on? And he's literally like, it's fine, everything's fine, sit down. And me and my sister are like, what the hell, like, tell us what's going on. So I sit down next to my mum, and my dad just goes, I have a son. And I'm just like, what? And I know this is a weird way to react maybe, but I literally just like laughed. Not like ha ha ha, but like, are you joking me? And don't get me wrong, I always thought my dad was a dick. Like, this wasn't necessarily a crazy thing to imagine him doing. He was not a good guy. But still, that's just not what I was anticipating today when I arrived in that room. So anyway, my dad is crying, and he's trying to explain and blah, blah, blah. And I'm literally just like, whatever. I'm literally not having any of it. I'm calling him, you know, a lot of names, and I'm telling him how disgusting and pathetic he is. And I'm just trying to console my mum. And we stay in that room probably for a couple of hours. It's kind of a blur, as you can imagine. It was a highly stressful environment in that room. And I stay there with my mum for a bit, and then when I'm talking to my mum later on, I'm like, oh my God, like, what happened? How did this happen? How did this come up? And she literally is like the psychic. And I'm literally like, because at this point, I'm not even relating the two, because it's just like information overload in my brain. So I'm literally like, what? And she's like, yeah, the psychic. She's like, when you left, later on, I was having dinner with the family, like my aunts and uncles and my dad and stuff. And she was like, when I relayed the story of what the psychic said to you, I looked at my dad, I don't want to say his name, my dad, and she said he looked like he'd seen a ghost. Like, he was literally like, what? And she thought, no, that is just not right. She had that intuition, that gut feeling that something was going on. But rather than just like say it directly, she was like, let me be tactical about this, because my dad is a very manipulative person. Like, he can get away with stuff, he can switch on the crocodile tears like that. So she was like, let me think about the best way to get this information out of him. So she waited until a couple days later, when they were going for Sunday lunch, and she waited until he was literally in the middle of his dinner, and she just said, do you have a son? Just straight like that, do you have a son? And he was like, and she was like, right, that means yes then, obviously. She's thinking he's gonna say, oh yeah, you know, there's a baby been born in the last year, like he has a son that's like a baby. He goes, yeah, he's 10 years old. And my mum's just like, what? Like, the last 10 years of our relationship, you've had another family in another country, and you've been going between the two. Vile. So basically, yeah, that is what the case was. So then that's when my mum calls me and my sister and is literally like, come to the house, there's something crazy has happened. And I'm literally, when she's telling me this, that it's because of the psychic, I'm like, whoa, like, this is nuts. And then for the actual most crazy bit, what do you think the kid was called? What do you think the secret 10-year-old son was called? Jack. Literally Jack. And when I realized that and put all those pieces together, I was literally like, what? He was called Jack. And listen, I know it's a really common name. I know it is. I know it's a common name in the UK, and there are a million Jacks, and it's not crazy that my secret brother, it's more crazy that I have a secret brother, not necessarily that I was called Jack. But the fact that the psychic said there's a third kid, and do you know the name Jack? Like, how would she know that? This family, they were in Vietnam. The kids were half Vietnamese and they were raised in another country. How would the psychic know about this? Literally. Like, when my mum said this story to my dad didn't believe it. He thinks that one of his work colleagues snitched on him and told my mum. And my mum was like, nobody did. This psychic thing happened. And he is literally like, okay. What is this tiny piece of hair? He's literally like, yeah, okay, sure. And it literally was. Like, that's what the psychic said. And I'm still not saying, do I believe 100% that she was definitely a psychic and she knew this information? But I totally believe that this was meant to happen. The woman pulling out because she was ill so that I could take the space. Because I'm telling you, my dad would have gone to his grave with this information and we would have been finding about the secret family in the will. You know what I mean? On his deathbed. But yeah, pretty fucking nuts. Crazy, right?
No, that's a crazy story. That's a wild story. I just want to point out that tarot card readings is not really a future telling. It is more of a the person is connecting with spiritual guides, with your guides beyond our lives. And they are telling you a message that you need to hear right now. But in general, it is believed in the community that you have a free will, and so you can change the future. There is no destiny. There is not one single way that the future will play out, but it is a more of a message from your spiritual guides and less of a future telling type of stuff. I personally had a reading as well. I paid for a personal reading, and as well as this woman, I also was very, very skeptical because I personally am more of a rational person, at least I would call myself that. And so I was very, very skeptical, so I didn't want to say anything to the cards tarot reader. It was over Zoom. And so the only thing I said was in the beginning, hello, my name is Joe, and whatever spirit wants to say, wants to tell me, I wanna hear it. I didn't say absolutely nothing, and the only thing I said at the end was thank you and bye, see you next time. I truly didn't say absolutely anything in between. I didn't want to interrupt. I truly wanted to see if there is something to it. And I remember that even after the first 3 cards that were pulled out, I remember that it did relate to my situation at the time. It did address some of my fears and some of my ambitions. It did address those things sort of in a way that people wouldn't necessarily assume right away, and it wasn't just a broad reading as people may think, but it was truly, I feel like there was a true connection between me and otherworldly beings thanks to the tarot cards reader. And I truly felt like that, if I remember it correctly, I felt like what I truly wanted to do is find out if there is something really to it, and I wanted to write about it on my blog article, and it worked. I truly started believing in spirituality, thanks to the tarot cards reader. She truly made me into a believer, so I guess it was successful. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, make sure to smash that like button, make sure to check out the video here, make sure to check out the video there and everywhere, and guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.